G'day and welcome back to the RC Model Review studio for another not-so-weekly news for another not-so-week. Actually, it's been more than a week. It's been over a month, I think, since I did my last not-so-weekly news. And I have my list, because I'm old and I forget. And what have I got on here? Actually, first, before we do that, where's the calendars? Yes, the calendars. And here's the one that Luca sends me every year. Well, she sends me a different calendar every year, but this is this month for 2016, and it is a Feisler Stork? I don't know. Anyway, it's a German plane, short takeoff and landing, and quite an interesting aircraft. You want to sort of do some research on these. I think they had an inverted V10? Yeah, I think so. Amazing aircraft, very, very impressive flight performance characteristics. And here is the one from the Australian Met Service. It is a full-circle rainbow above Cottesloe Beach in Western Australia. There you go. You could fly in that. Looks a bit like that Walkera RBO virtual reality game where you've got to fly through the hoops. Yeah, I wonder if they got it from this calendar. Who knows? Anyway, back to the list. Right, first up, DSMX has been hacked. Oh my gosh. What does it mean? Nothing. Well, if you read the popular media, you'll see that there was a big series of news stories last week or earlier this week in which the papers were writing about the horrific situation where the protocol that controls some drones, DSMX, it means drones can be captured and hijacked and flown into buildings and people could stick dynamite on them and cause all sorts of mayhem and, oh, really? Come on, let's get serious. Anyway, the Spectrum DSMX protocol has been reverse engineered and some clever chappie built up a little box which enables him to seize control of any model or drone which is controlled by Spectrum DSMX. And, well, it's not such a big deal, to be totally honest. They're making the claim that, oh, these protocols are insecure, how terrible it is. Well, if these newspaper reporters had just researched a bit, they'd have found that just a few years ago, during the days of a long wire, which is only about 10 years ago, all you had to do was turn on a transmitter on the same frequency as the gear that someone was using, and their aircraft or their helicopter or their drone would fall from the sky. So it's not a big deal. And also, it's not just DSMX, it's virtually every protocol that's being used at the moment for model control purposes is vulnerable. It's very easy to sniff. They're called sniff the packets. Just basically work out how they work and create new ones and take control of something. It's not rocket science, really it isn't. So, your FrSky protocol, your Futaba Fast, your Futaba FHSS, all those ones, they're all vulnerable to this exploit. So, but who really gives a damn? I mean, really, are you going to go to all that trouble to hijack someone else's drone when you can buy one on AliExpress for $200? It just makes no sense at all. But trust me, very shortly we will see, probably from Spectrum to start with, the new probably DSMX-S protocol, the secure protocol. It'll be encrypted from end to end and it'll give you the peace of mind to know that nobody can steal your drone with this little piece of hardware and some software. No, Spectrum or someone will say, we have the secure protocol you need to protect your models. Well, yeah, okay, I won't be buying into that. But people will because they read the paper and they think, oh, we've got to have a secure one or my drone will be stolen and I'll be accused of murdering somebody. So there you go. The media, they don't know diddly squat about drones and models. Speaking of drones and models, I was looking around on the Australian CASA website the other day. I noticed that for the first time, I think ever, I saw a regulator that draws a distinction between RC models and drones, or RPAS or UAS or whatever you want to call them. And on their website, they've got some regulations and they distinctly draw a differentiation between the two. Good work, CASA. I mean, everyone else just treats them all the same. As far as most of the airspace regulators are concerned, we're all flying drones. Even if it's a 150cc petrol aerobatic plane, it's still a drone. Even if it's a discus launch glider, it's still a drone. But CASA has got a few clues and they've said, no, there is a difference. Hooray for CASA, because CASA's regulations are actually pretty damn good. I wish New Zealand would follow in the footsteps of Australia when it comes to regulating this stuff, but no, our regulators have their own ideas and they're going to lead the world. Well, they're leading it from behind and they're going the opposite direction at the moment, but that doesn't seem to, doesn't twig. Never mind, things may change, you don't know, and I shouldn't complain, otherwise I get in trouble. Right, moving right along. Oh yeah, now Runcam cameras, I've done a couple of reviews. The Eagle, which a couple of other reviewers have said, hey, it's the best FPV camera we've ever seen. Just like I said, I was right, or we're all wrong, I don't know, I think I'm right. And also Runcam Night Eagle, which is a kick-ass camera that, if you didn't see the review, you should go and have a look at it, because if you're flying in the Northern Hemisphere and you want to fly after dark, this camera will it'll float your boat for you. It's pretty damn good. Anyway, so there you go. And speaking of long nights, short days, it's spring down here. So we get the long days and the short nights while you get the other up there in the Northern Hemisphere. But what a spring, man. We've had rain and thunderstorms and wind, and oh man, it's like flying. You can forget that. I was hoping to be able to fly today. No, it's blown a gale out here, and there were big thunderstorms yesterday, and anyway, eventually the summer will arrive, and that will allow me to fly some of the fixed wing models that I'm reviewing at the moment. But at the moment, it'll be very short flights, and we wouldn't learn much except that things break when you throw them in a strong wind. So what else have I got here? Oh yes, what have I been doing with my time apart from reviewing stuff and so forth? I have been building some test rigs. And what's a test rig? Well, a test rig it's like a tool that you build to perform a particular task. In this case, the first test rig I've built is to test the noise immunity of FPV transmitters and cameras, because I'm noticing increasingly that a lot of the quads in that I get have really bad patterning on the video when you arm the motors, and when you really push them hard, sometimes the picture almost breaks up because the amount of noise on the power lines battery feed is so high. When you're drawing tens, maybe even 100 amps out of a battery that's not designed to deliver that much, the voltage sags, so you've got the motors turning magnets off and on, the voltage is going up and down. All that noise, if the camera or the video transmitter isn't able to resist or reject that noise, you get a really crappy video signal. So I'm going to put all the common video transmitters I've got on the bench, and also all the cameras, and we'll see how they stack up. If you want to build a quad that has a super clear video image without the lines, then this video will help you choose the right gear to do that. It's always a compromise though, bit of a problem. Now what else have I got here? Oh yes, if you're a regular viewer of my XJet channel, you'll have seen the FPV Cheer, the sort of virtual cockpit that another flyer here at the airfield has produced, Ron. He's created this chair which originally you put your transmitter on a shelf and connected up some cables to the sticks, and then the joystick moved the aileron and the elevator, and the pedals moved the rudder, and throttle was on a little lever. Proof of concept, it worked, but not very well. But a lot of people have been interested in that project. Oh wow, that's fantastic. Someone even asked Ron if they'd make him one. Well, what Ron and I are doing on that, we're building a version 2, and it's going to be a lot more sophisticated, but still we're making it as easy to build as possible. All you'll need is a file and a saw and a screwdriver and a drill, basically, and a soldering iron, and you should be able to build this yourself. And if you've got video glasses with head tracking and a camera with a gimbal, it'll be a real interesting experience. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will find this very interesting and exciting. So stay tuned. I'm not sure if I'll put it on the RC Model Reviews channel or the XJet channel, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a link in the description to this video to Ron's Cheer, the video test flight, and go and have a look at it. It should be good. Now, what else have I got here? I've been doing some more of the electronic theory videos, Electronics 101. I've done one on passives, which is resistors, capacitors, and inductors. And I've done another one on semiconductors, which is diodes, transistors, FETs, integrated circuits and things. So if you want to learn more about the stuff that makes our technology tick, then watch out for those videos coming up pretty soon. And finally, I haven't heard from FrSky regarding the NDA on my Horus. Now, I did a quick video on the Horus telling you what I could tell you, but under an NDA I'm very limited in what I can tell you. So I'm trying to get hold of FrSky at the moment, but I notice another reviewer has worked it out that if it's on sale, then really the NDA can't apply, because people can buy them and do anything they like with them. So I'm going to do the full teardown of the Horus. We'll look very closely at the quality of construction, the design, the compromises they've made perhaps, and the strengths and weaknesses of this product. And so if you're looking at buying a Horus, will be able to make a more informed decision. And I've got to say right now, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons. So it's going to be very much a radio that will suit some people down to the ground, but other people just won't do anything for them. And so you'll have to look at the video at what's good and what's bad and make your own mind up as to whether it's the radio you want to buy. And it's not as clear cut as you'd think, unfortunately. So we'll look at that. It'll be coming up. Hopefully I'll have that up next week. It's quite an involved video. I have to do a lot of work, of course. I've shot quite a bit of it already, but there's some more to do, so stay tuned for that. Now, I think that's about everything. Oh, no, not quite. I'm having a tidy up. Yeah, I know I've said that before, but honestly, I've lost the floor. First I lost the bench, now I've lost the floor. It's terrible in here. So what I've done is I've bought a whole lot of big plastic bins. I'm going to throw stuff in bins. And then I've got the workshop out here because I need to do some more work on fixed wing builds, and I don't have the room in here. So I'm going to have to reorganize my workshop and put in some more benches and things. So yeah, a lot of work during the spring. As part of the spring tidy up, I've been starting to send stuff off to some of my Patreon supporters. I put a couple of items up there on my Patreon earlier was it last week? In the last few days anyway, I put some of the items up. And now Patreon supporters can support me at different levels. So I start at the top naturally. The people who give me the most support, I give them first dibs on stuff. And there's been a Shuriken 180, which I have, someone's claimed. And there was the Kylan video visor, someone's claimed that. And there'll be a whole lot of other stuff. And if it's not claimed at the top level, it'll drop down to the next level and down, down, down. So even if you're a $1 a month supporter, hopefully there's something coming up for you and you might score something free, because it's no good. It's no good sitting here on my floor or in a plastic container not being used. This stuff's been sent in for review, or I've bought it for review purposes so that it can be tested, and then it should be used by someone. Even if it got a bad review, someone can take advantage of it. And I was going to, this is a bit of a tragedy, but I had made plans this summer to lease this airfield from our local council, since there has been no paying aircraft in here for over a month. And when I say paying, there's a landing fees of $10. The same 2 empty envelopes have been in the honesty box for the last month. Nobody's coming, nobody's paying. The airfield is dead. Honestly, this is the worst year ever for use of the airfield. So I figured, I went to the council and said, I'll pay you $1,000 a month to lease this airfield for the purpose of flying models. And that is twice what you got last year from the use of the airfield by Full Size Aviation. And since there are virtually all the local planes have been sold and gone away, no one's going to dip out. The 2 remaining flyers here can still use the airfield, but it'll enable us to get model flying in here and get it going, and whatever. The council, is the elected members of the council, were all in favour. Yes, good idea. Unfortunately, it was scuttled by one of the little bureaucrats who consulted with experts, aviation experts, who actually turned out to be a bunch of civil engineers. How does that work? But no, they're his experts, and they told him, oh no, you can't do that. Can't do that. No, 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 no. What do they know about aviation? I have a qualification recognised by the Civil Aviation Authority. I didn't see any qualifications in their list that were recognised by CAA. But nevertheless, the bureaucrats have ultimate control in this town, and they'll do whatever the hell they want. So they said, no, we're better to let the airfield sit here and rot for 3 months and actually have it used. So that plan fell through. So I was keeping all these models here and things so people could come from all over the country, all over the world, and fly models here at the airfield without having to bring their own. Now, that's not going to happen, so I'm starting to give them away to my Patreon supporters. So there you go. Somebody wins. Everybody wins. If you want to see my Patreon page, there's a link in the description of this video. If you want to support me, even over Christmas, that'd be great, because the next few months are going to be the busiest months in my calendar, because it's our summer, and I want to buy as many products as I can, review as much stuff as I can, so that you guys get the benefit of that. And also means that on those cold winter evenings when you're dreaming about flying, you can tune into RC Model Reviews and watch something hopefully worth watching. Anyway, I appreciate the support of all my Patreon supporters. Thank you, thank you, thank you very, very much. Now, that's it. I've finished. Finally, at last, I've finished. Those of you who are still awake, thank you. And if you've got questions, comments, put them in the usual place. Now I've got to get back to work. I've got to find a broom. I've got to find more plastic containers. I've got to start addressing up boxes and going down to the post office to post stuff. Speaking of which, I started a vlog on my XJet channel. I've put up one edition. I'm going to put another one up soon, but if you want to see that one, then I'll link it in the description of this one as well. And if you like it, say so, and I'll try and do those vlogs more regularly and see how it works out. Right, bye for now. Catch you later.